Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining the Ramboll presentation. Today Adam and I would like to build on the Sustainable Venues presentation we gave last year. At Ramboll we feel COVID has made this area of venue design even more important, and if we really focus on creating sustainable venues, it will make us more resilient to future shocks. COVID has had a huge impact on the sports and entertainment sector. Matches and competitions have been cancelled or postponed, with events held behind closed doors. When it comes to developing a strategy for recovery from such a complex challenge, there is no straightforward solution. Do we need to go beyond the limits of conventional recovery and take a more considered approach in the form of recalibrated recovery? Although a conventional recovery will focus on key existing priorities such as health and finance, a recalibrated recovery focuses on incentivizing innovation and using this to include new priorities such as creating truly sustainable venues. Furthermore, a conventional recovery thinks in terms of stabilization in the short to medium term, whereas a recalibrated recovery is based on long-term planning in the attempt to create resilient recovery and growth. Is this an opportunity to do something different? The underlying principle of sustainability is to ensure that the ability of future generations is not compromised with respect to the environment, the economy, or human health. A lack of resilience and an exposure to either prolonged or repeated disturbances will result in a gradual decline, with the recovery process more complex and more expensive. If resilience is strengthened or enhanced, we are more likely to withstand shocks and also recover faster and at less expense. Considering the number and magnitude of hazards that a venue may face, disruption is inevitable. The ability to resist, absorb, and become stronger is the differentiator. So why is it important that we focus on being more resilient and having a long-term plan? At Ramboll, we understand that sports and entertainment is woven into the fabric of society. Throughout our lives, there are numerous instances where a sports or entertainment event has defined us as an individual, nation, and wider society. These life-defining moments are etched into our memories and often contribute to who we are. Throughout history and culture, changes to society have often gone hand in hand with sporting and entertainment events. As a sustainable society consultant, Ramboll works in this sector to be part of these moments that bring communities together. Whether it be from grassroots to world-class sporting occasions or community gatherings to live entertainment events, these moments in our lives all support our need for social interaction. This human contact in turn improves our emotional well-being, physical and mental health. At Ramboll, our engineers and consultants understand that venues used for the sports and entertainment sector play a pivotal role in a sustainable society. These buildings provide the places for us all to come together to share experiences that are for the betterment of our lives. These are all aspects of sport and entertainment that we have sorely missed over the last 9 months, surely reinforcing the need to protect them going forward. We understand that venues need to be more than just a place to experience the spectacular of the event. Building a stadium for one event type that lie empty for large periods of the year is not a sustainable approach. Increasingly, sporting homes for clubs need to be a venue embraced by the wider community. As the sustainable society is one that balances the human, environmental and economic well-being, stadia and arenas need to also consider this so they can become sustainable venues. The design opportunities that we will take you through in further detail are maximising the venue usage, turning the venue inside out, creating healthier and happier spaces, reducing the impact to the environment, and triple top-line opportunities. From the project inception, we recognise the importance of understanding the event calendar and truly appreciate how it will operate in practice, and with the client and design team explore all options for use in the local market. Taking Valencia Arena as an example, with its primary use being basketball, with a limited number of fixtures, it was very important that other events were considered throughout the design process. Significant revenue streams can be generated from the events considered, such as music, conferences, tennis, swimming, and the growing esports market. On Ashton Gate, we have been working with the client for a number of years, and with each project, be it large or small, We aim to fully understand where the value is from the client so we can tailor our design from the outset. For those of you who've visited Ashton Gate, you may have witnessed the varied hospitality space such as the Lansdowne Suite, the sports bar, the flexible hospitality boxes cum meeting rooms and business lounge. These spaces are used 365 days a year. The stadium is the home of Bristol City Football Club and Bristol Bears Rugby Club and hence used regularly for home games for both. Over the closed season, the venue has also hosted summer concerts. Due to the flexibility of the venue, it is now being prepared as a key part of the COVID mass testing and vaccine rollout in the city of Bristol. Maximising the use of a venue can lead to a positive impact on human well-being through its diverse range of users. It has a positive impact on the business model through increased revenue, and in creating multi-use buildings and limiting the need for others, they improve the environmental sustainability. Venues traditionally face inward on the event, turning their back on the wider community, often leading to them only being used for their primary purpose. By turning the venue inside out, retail, dining and bars can serve not only the spectators, they can also serve the wider community 365 days a year. This places the venue at the heart of its neighbourhood and brings in more revenue through increased use. Our Tampere Arena project, which is currently under construction in Finland, is a great example of unlocking a difficult site and providing a new district in the city of Tampere. The arena and other buildings that form the development are all constructed on a huge podium that has been built over the main railway lines. The development creating a new meeting place in the city, bringing the local residents and tourists together. We are currently working on Swansea Arena, and this follows similar principles to Tampere. Again, a large podium is being constructed over infrastructure, in this instance over car parks and loading bays. The podium is landscaped, creating a new 1-acre coastal park. The new space is centrally located, creating a new destination in the city. Users of the park will experience aspects of the events being held in the arena through a digital facade, further enhancing the interaction between the venue and the community. Valencia Arena is looking to maximise the model of turning the retail, bars and restaurants inside out, with a significant number of outlets located on the perimeter of the building. Currently going through the final stages of design, once complete, the new facility will provide an outward-facing venue for the local community and visitors to its events. A picture tells 1,000 words. The external fan zone and event space at Ashton Gate has been a huge success. The space is buzzing pre-match and used for numerous community events during the season and over the close season. The next phase of work at Ashton Gate looks to build on its success, creating an improved zone for such events. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of this football season, we will experience scenes like this again during the Euros.
The key question to ask when designing a sustainable venue is how do we create them to be healthier and happier venues? COVID has meant that we travel less and we are more engaged with our local community, and so too do the venues need to engage with their local community even more than they used to. Happier people are starting to live longer, be more healthier, more productive and more engaged with society. Venues can create pride in the local community and make them have an identity that makes them feel that they belong to the people within the neighbourhood. So why is happiness such an important commodity when designing sports and entertainment venues? The Happiness Research Institute in Copenhagen state that 14% of our happiness comes from physical health, while 17% from mental health. It's obvious to say that sports and entertainment venues can contribute towards our physical and mental health. So we need to consider how we design our venues to be much better at providing wellness. Also, you'll see that the more engaged a venue is in the community and its local environment, the happier people are because they see a strong sense of community engagement, and they also see if they can contribute towards the sustainability of that venue and they're connected to it. It's a cumulative additive effect to create a more happy and sustainable life. One of the ways to improve this community engagement and get people active is to create space outside the venue which people feel is part of them and part of their community. This encourages community engagement and creates a space for people to be active and more healthier. Let's not forget the importance of integrating grassroots sporting facilities around sports and entertainment venues. This helps bring people together, and families obviously bring their children to practice sport and develop more healthier lifestyles. When they're there, they can then be engaged in the facilities that are around the venue, such as bars, restaurants and cafes, to spend money. It also adds to a sense of community well-being because the venue is partly theirs, and creates that connection to the sports venue, which means ultimately, aspirationally, one day someone could be playing in the actual venue that they're playing next to. As we've said before, sports and entertainment is woven into the fabric of society. We all knew where we were when certain events like Maradona's Hand of God were. So, creating those community spaces around venues enables people to themselves have their special moment in life. It means that your local festivals and other things can be brought in. We can encourage local businesses to flourish because we could hold markets and other community events. And it gives people to overlay for complementary events to the venue. So it's important to create those community spaces. Creating co-working and startup opportunities within sports and entertainment venues helps them to be used more and brings people together and makes the venue even more at the heart of the community. This encourages those that may not have home working facilities or want more social interaction to be able to come to the co-working space. By creating spaces that are flexible for startup opportunities, we can encourage local businesses to grow and potentially generate more revenue for the venue. When we think of sustainable venues, most of us would think about how do we reduce the impact of the environment. This is very key, but it's only focusing on the planet aspect of sustainable venues. Energy reduction potentially is counterintuitive to usage of the venue, which we really want to make the venue more sustainable, as that helps its embodied energy. As we can see here, the grid is decarbonising. It will continue to decarbonise, and therefore our energy that we use will become cleaner over the next 20 years. The main issue, though, is as we start to decarbonise our grid to supply our sports and entertainment venue with power, that what happens is that power becomes very intermittent and variable. There are times when it's windy, there are times when it's sunny. So we have to then look about how we actually take the right electricity at the different carbon factors to try and reduce the overall impact of carbon on the venue. So a zero carbon building isn't really just about reducing its energy, it's also making sure that the venue has an opportunity to take power or heat and create it at the most optimum time. So you can see here we would use thermal storage to be able to generate cooling at times when the venue may not even be on, and it's cheaper to generate or more efficient to generate the coolth. Alternatively, we have battery storage to peak lock the electrical demand, or even take the PV off the roof to store it at lower carbon figures. So all of these now is we need a building that can take the response from when the electricity is being generated to become the most efficient. But as we were saying earlier, we want to maximise the usage of these venues. So the more we use them, the more energy they will also consume. So turning around and saying we need a net zero building, that's only based around a certain amount types of events and a certain quantity and number. So we will have potentially sports in terms of basketball or football, but we may have music, conferences, tennis and esports. all of which have completely different profile and energy demands. The thing is, the more we use the venue, whilst it may consume more energy, it helps to reduce the amount of embodied energy per event that's left within the structure, being cement and concrete, steel. So using the venue more helps it become more sustainable, because it's not very sustainable to build a building that actually is only used a few times throughout the year. We can look to reduce the amount of embodied energy by understanding the amount of cement that's specified within the concrete, and look at curing times to actually reduce that embodied energy of the cement and other materials. So we look at the triple top line opportunities that are available within sporting venues. So to create a truly sustainable sports and entertainment venue, we need to ensure that it benefits both business, people and planet. Balancing these three metrics ensures true sustainability. Having a building that's eco-friendly, whilst it might not endanger the planet, it may end up being a building that's actually not very financially viable, or people don't want to go to it. So it's important that this is all balanced. So can we look how material choices can actually improve the environment within the space? So can we create green walls and green facades in our buildings? Can we use wood to reduce the embodied energy and maybe even store the carbon? So all of these things need to be looked at when actually trying to create that triple top line opportunity. Also think of venues, of the assets they have. Often they have large infrastructure connections just for that one match day. So can we take that infrastructure connection and make it available for other businesses, or for charging local cars from electric vehicles? We have a large roof. Can we make that into an energy centre to be able to provide PV that would maybe be able to push back to the grid, or maybe even private wire to provide for affordable electricity to the local homes? With COVID resetting the world, it's now more important than ever that we think about how we recalibrate the recovery to be more sustainable and more resilient in the future. As we mentioned previously, it's important as architects, designers and engineers that we maximise the venue usage, we turn it inside out, we create happier and healthier spaces, we reduce its environmental impact, and we look at those triple top line opportunities of balancing business, people, planet. It's fantastic if we create these venues, but is it really sustainable if we only ever use it one time? Let's use this opportunity that COVID has created to rethink and reimagine our venues to make them more sustainable and balance business, people, planet. Thank you for your time. We hope you found that interesting, and we're ready for questions.